Don't overthink it, it's just paint. And thanks again for joining me on the channel. My name is Brian. This is a channel where we all learn how to paint, whether you are the first time holding a paint gun or if you are a seasoned veteran. Well, let's get right to it. Yeah, I got a big boy here. I don't even know what it is. I think it's a GMC Sierra. I don't know, you guys know more. All I know is a lot of guys on YouTube are working on these bad boys, and well, this is a used car. And unfortunately, I guess there was an emblem of some sort here and the car wash peeled it off. And it looks like this has probably been painted before, because that's a characteristic of a repaint. I see some primer and I see some black paint, but you know, this truck has had some, I gotta say, some damage here. You can see that truck bed right here is got more waves in the ocean, but that's nothing to do with what we're doing. We're just repairing this right here. I'm gonna take it through the steps right now. And the first thing you always wanna do is I use some solvent cleaner and just go ahead and clean the whole surface of the truck itself or the panel. It's just gonna really help out when it comes to sanding. You're not sanding dirt into the panel. Also, guys, you're not clogging up your sandpaper, right? You're giving your sandpaper a chance to perform as best it's gonna be. Also, it's very important to take off as much as you can. You can see, remove the door handle, the trims, the mirror, the emblem, and then we had a molding right here. We want to get this vehicle done as fast as we can, but efficient. So what we have is, I have a K600 and I have my block with a hard block. Let me show you a little bit more. So basically it is a hard block right there, and then this is our sanding block. And then they actually come in these sheets, K600, they're half sheets. Now the cool thing about this is it will leave a 600 grit scratch, but it will cut at the speed of, let's say, like a 320. So it's not going to leave a 320 grit scratch, but it's going to cut similar to that, okay, at the speed of that. Now I like to do all my blocking initially by hand. Some guys, they'll just take the DA and just start rubbing into it, and what they'll do there is they'll create dents. All right, so you can see it's already starting to kind of block out a little bit. It's a little bit right here, it's got a little bit of an edge right there, so we'll continue just to give it a little bit more love. A quick tip you can do is you can use a little bit of solvent cleaner, and that's just going to help lubricate it and help out the paper even more. Now with this particular paper, it can do it all dry, but a little lubrication goes a long way. You can see how it's just really starting to feather it out. Now we see it's feathered out here, but right there, that's not a correct feathering right there. We want to go ahead and just give that a little bit more love until it looks something like this. See how it's a little bit more uniform here? So that is good to go. We'll prepare the rest of the surface here for primer. So we'll prepare the rest of the surface. This is a K600. This is the same paper, but in a DA form. And on my DA, what I'm going to do is just sand the area around it. We got another spot here that I think the emblem picked off some of the paint. So we just feather that out a little bit with the K600. All right, to clean it once again, I'm gonna use some solvent-based cleaner. Get all this residue before primer. Now I wanna paint this one today because I want it to dry overnight. I wanna be able to come back the next day and put it back together, and if it needs a polish, be able to polish it once the clear is dry. A lot of guys ask, how long does the clear have to dry? Well, that depends on its particular clear. Usually if you leave it overnight, 8 to 10 hours, it'll be good enough to nib out. Some take much longer, so if you got the time, wait a little bit longer, but don't wait too long, because there's a window for buffing. If you wait too long on that window, it will get harder to buff. This definitely looks painted. I can see in certain areas. All right, so I want to get this done pretty quick. So this is UV primer. This is not regular spray can, rattle can primer off the shelf at AutoZone. That's lacquer. This is a UV primer that's activated by UV light. Okay, what happens is this light, or the sun, direct sunlight, will activate the inhibitors and catalyze the primer. All right, this is a very high build primer. If you put a few coats down, the way you use it is you got to do it very, very, very thin coats. If you do too many thick coats, what happens is this light cannot penetrate all the way through the surface and it'll peel right off. So basically we're gonna come right here. We're gonna put our light on it, We're gonna let this flash off for just a few moments. You can see in real time, it's pretty much already dry. We can get a little bit closer, and what that will do is that will dry it up a little bit quicker. And then from there, we'll add another coat, and then we'll put the light right back on it. And from here, this is probably from start to finish, between application of primer and the light, about 1 to 2 minutes, and it's ready to sand. We'll do one more light coat here, connect the dots. We'll put the light on once more, and we'll do a couple passes, and this is gonna be ready for sanding just like that. All right, so basically it's ready to go. Just a couple minutes later, you can see I scratched it up a little bit. Now I can remove this. So basically what I'm gonna be doing is using my same K600. And I tell you, that's enough to cut it. I'm gonna block it out. I already did my blocking in the first stage for something this small. We don't got Bondo or any of that. We'll just give it a little sand. And you don't need any guide coat. Guide coat doesn't work too well with this stuff because it kind of has different layers of shades. If you've ever used UV primer, you kind of know what I'm talking about. But just kind of look at it and feel it. It's black anyways, so it should be fine. You can see how hard we're getting on it, and it's not even burning through. This stuff really builds. That's good. We're ready to prepare the rest of the panel. Now we're gonna prep the rest. Basically what you're gonna see me do is use my K600, all my flat areas, and then go around the edges. Getting it sanded down, something super weird is happening. I don't get it. We're supposed to be scuffing it, and it's supposed to be clear. This is like brown. I don't know what the last painter did. I don't know if they left some paint in here. I don't know if this is single stage. I haven't got a clue. But I'm gonna go light on it because I don't want to burn through too much. I don't know what the deal is here. We're gonna keep on scuffing it down, not going crazy. You can see here where I removed the molding. They didn't remove the molding previously, so it kind of left an open edge. That is very, 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 very dangerous when it comes to putting base down. So what are you gonna do? You're not gonna put base over this. You're gonna put some sealer. I'm gonna show you that in the booth here in just a moment. Let's get the rest of this scuffed up. Go ahead and we'll use our maroon scuff pad on our edges here to make a quick, easy work of it. We're just looking to scuff her up. You can see some of that coming off. So this is just gonna scuff the surface. Like I said, if this was a factory job, I have a good idea that most likely this was a single stage. I'm not sure if that's how they do these trucks, but like I said, this thing's definitely been painted over, and I'm not quite sure what was used to do it. It's scuffing up pretty easy. It's not scuffing up too much like clear coat. Granted, this is 400 or equivalent to, but yeah, I'm just a little bit stumped here. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but maybe you guys in the comments can help me out and help me figure out what is this here. Continue scuffing it up. Now this wraps all the way around. So with that said, we got to scuff this up. Now I pulled the gasket out, make sure we get a nice clean edge, do everything right here as much as we can. This will scuff up. It scuffs up super easy. I don't think this is clear coat. I don't know if this is clear coat. I know I got a lot of guys here that watch my channel that are probably a lot older in experience than I am that are gonna know exactly what's going on here. But yeah, she's just about all scuffed up. We'll finish up the edges right in here. It's good to get a nice little scuff going on. I'm gonna check the color here. I'm gonna get a good color because if I have to go a little bit more towards the edge, I wanna make sure it matches. Get a little chip there, I'll end up feathering out. I can see a little bit of a sausage or picture framing on this edge here. It's a little bit thick. Make sure I scuff that down a little bit, flatten it out before I put my own sausage or picture frame on it. I'll show you something interesting here. This area was not painted by the last person that painted the car, and I did a little scuff here with 800. That for sure is clear coat base coat. So from factory, this thing is not single stage, or at least this truck isn't. Whatever they did here, I'm not sure, but we're gonna make it right. And I think we solved the mystery. Other than that, look at where the strip was, right? The strip's got clear coat. That's saying the clear coat. This is single stage of some sort. Very interesting. We're gonna keep it small as we can so the color still matches. Let's get this thing into the booth. Well, we got it in here. I gotta love this booth. GFS, semi downdraft, really, really nice. Now, if we were painting the roof, I'd probably take air out of these tires, but it's just the door, so I can get a little step ladder to get in here. Let me get this thing all masked up, ready to spray this and get out of here. All masked off, we're ready to start sealing. Let me show you what we got here. We're gonna bring 2 guns into the paint booth. I like the 3-in gun because it's so versatile. Sealer, and then clear base. I'll put a link in the description of some clear base by House of Color you can use. This is not blending solvent, okay? We're actually gonna put down some sealer, and then we're gonna clear base right over it, right away to kill that edge. Here we go. Gonna go right into my clear base. You can see it's still wet. I'm not gonna go over on top of it actually, but under and over so it can melt that edge. All right, over here and then on top of it. And then I'll do the whole entire panel. All right, that's right out the clear base. What this does for me is it melts in that edge beautifully, right? And it gives me a visual aid. How does it look? Since this is kind of like a single stage, right? Or it was a single stage, I can see, hey, do I have any burn through areas? It's a great visual aid to give you a clue as to what's going on. All right, and as you can see, it is all completely sealed and it is really smooth. Check this out. This is where the transition is. You can't feel a thing. You cannot feel a thing between the two. That's what we like. I guarantee you guys, if you didn't seal this edge, you would run into issues. Please use sealer. It is your friend. All right? You think you're saving time by not using it? You're wasting time. All right? Sealer will get you out of a lot of issues. We're ready for some base. Let's put some on in this area. We'll blend a little bit out. It's black. It's going to be good. And then we'll move on to clear. All right, you can see 1 coat. Just by using our sealer, it's pretty much covered. We'll allow this to flash. We'll drop on 1 more, and then that will be it. All right, about 5 minutes later, it's flashed off nice. There's no need to blend on this one. We got a good color match. This is a black car. We're just fixing this area, and we're gonna put 1 more coat. We'll bring it up a little bit higher. We don't wanna mess with our color that matches. Based off our clear coat, our clear base rather, we can see that it's looking good. We don't have any burn throughs, so we're good to go. Let's put on 1 more coat. What we'll do is we'll let this flash for 15 minutes and we'll pop on some clear coat. This thing's gonna look really, really good. First coat's all down, been flashing for about 10 minutes. Let it tack up real good. We're gonna lay down the second coat a little bit slower, a little bit wetter. Still got a little peel from that first coat, but we're gonna handle it and extend our edge all the way so we have a nice clean edge here and not a dry one like we have right now. But let's roll. And that's after just spraying. It came out really good, super clean. Guys, I got a 1, 2, and a couple pieces of dirt over in here. Otherwise, it looks super nice. And we're gonna let this dry overnight. We'll come back and we'll go ahead and get it unmasked and buff where we need to, get this thing assembled. Really happy. We started on this at around 5 p.m. It is 8:30 and it is all completely painted. We'll do the finished work tomorrow. Let's get some rest and come back in the morning. All right, we're back here. Now we're gonna start to get this thing together, but we do our own buffing. There's a couple spots we wanna buff. There's a couple pieces of dirt right in here, and then I got maybe one right in there. So the rest of it's clean. I see something right there, we'll take that one out. The rest of it, there's no dirt. So I'm gonna show you how to do it real quick. Fast and effective, just to take out these little guys. On this, we're gonna use a 3-inch and Buflex 2000 grit. And what that's gonna do is just, I wanna smooth this out a little bit. All right, we wanna take the nib out, flatten it out, and show you how easy it is. Right here, you can see right here, that's the nib, right? So we wanna flatten that out. For you guys, you don't have to go as fast, slower is better. And that's it, it's pretty much flattened out. We come here, there's another one. And we can connect these two. For this guy right here, same thing. We got one right there. Flatten that out. With these two areas, the dust nib wasn't bad. This one's a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna use Tolecut. This is a 1500 grit, and it comes out in these little sheets right here. They'll cut into little 8ths on a sheet, 8 pieces, and basically, I want to help the sandpaper, because if I was just going to use 2000 on the DA, it would just roll over it. It would flatten it out a little bit, but it wouldn't completely cut it. And with the bigger guys, just like this, help out that DA. Let's get it to the point where the nib is flat. You can see right there, it's not flat yet. So let's just give a little bit more love to it. And once we start to see that, you know, we don't see any more of that black around it, the unsanded clear coat, then we know that it's leveled off. And this is normal to get dirt like this. It's gonna happen. Not every job you'll do is perfect, but you wanna minimize as much as possible so you're not sitting here all day buffing it. So once that is all sanded with 15, I'm gonna take my 2000, same paper, I'm gonna go over it. What this does is it makes the surface a little bit easier to buff. It's gonna refine it to a 2000 grit scratch. And that's what 2000 looks like. So let's come over here. This is a 3000 grit. That's 1000 above the 2000, obviously. And what that does is gonna refine it even more. This is the piece. So I'll pop that guy on there. And basically we're gonna refine it. Now every time you sand, they're gonna make this spot a little bit bigger, but that's normal. See how it's differently sanding? Remember before and earlier in the video, we were sanding brown and it was coming off brown on the paper. This is clear coat. See the difference and see why I was so confused? I think we cleared that up. And this is a 3000 grit scratch, which is very buffable. We got a one-step system. We're gonna use a dual action polisher. We're not gonna have to worry about any buffer trails, any swirls. One step, and that's done. See you later. We'll finish up with the trim as soon as we're done. This is that polisher we're talking about. It's got an orange pad on it. It's like a medium cut. And this is a very safe polisher to use on all dark colors or any paint. Granted, a little bit slower, but if you bring your, you refine your sanding marks up to 3000, it's gonna buff much quicker. So we're gonna use a swirl remover, one-step polish swirl remover that I've been using, which is excellent. And that's the Turbo Wax swirl remover. I kinda stepping away from the 3M products, a little bit pricey, and there's a lot more advantages to using products by a company that really puts a lot of effort into making sure that their customers are happy. So we're gonna do a little bit of here and we'll show you what it looks like. So in real time, that is just one application, and essentially it's just about all buffed. I can see at my edges I have a little bit more, so I'm gonna get this once over. I do each spot about 2 times. And that spot is good to go. That was less than 2 minutes. Now we'll move on to this one. Moving on to the application here, same thing. You don't need to use a lot, and you can pat it in, kind of spread it out. The one thing I love about one step, all right, and a true one step like we have here, is with like the 3M or 3 steps, you got compound, and then you got polish, and then you have, you know, your third step, your swirl remover, and that is just taking up all this room. So with this, it's one step, that's it, and I'm telling you, at the edges, it leaves no marks. Now you might not have caught it in fast forward, but I do application side to side, then up and down, application side to side, then up and down. I do that about 8 times, and then from there, she's good to go. This one's nice. Let's move on to our last one. Finish wiping that spot. Use a detailer spray to clean up any of the residue. And then, by far, my favorite part of the job, it's gotta be the assembly process. Just getting everything back together. This is honestly the first time I've worked on a truck like this. Didn't know much about it, but that's the only way you really learn, is by attacking something with an open mind. This for sure is not a Honda. Right. That in there. Who here just noticed the mistake I made? This guy gotta go in first. Luckily, I didn't bolt it down yet. There we go. I like to put these guys on by hand first. Don't start going at it with the power tools. That's how you strip bolts, things like that. Slow down just a little bit. And once they're on, you can give it a little snug. That. And for the final details, get this nice and clean alcohol-based wipe right here. And then we'll line her up. We use this tape as a visual guide for us. Right around there. Now, very important step. These are a must when doing double-sided tape work. Adhesion promoter. Use some of this stuff, man, it will stick and it won't come off. Put some on there, just like so. We'll let it flash for a couple minutes. I also did the same thing before I put this tape on. I put a little adhesion promoter, wipe, retaped it, so this thing's gonna stick really well. There. I like to set both sides first. So I line up one side, and then I don't place it down by pushing it completely. I first just look, hey, visually, how does it look? You know, I haven't pushed it down. So then what I'll do is I'll look at it from a distance, right? How does it look from a distance? Because from a distance you can see the wide range. Is it good? I think it's good. Let's take it down. And that's a good bond. Don't wash your car for a little bit, I would say. Maybe the next day. You don't want any of the water ruining that bond. All right. We'll pull that tape off now. On this side, I'm lining up with tape where I took some measurements. All right, and that's our emblem right there. So all we gotta do is peel one side, and the backing will keep the spacing proper. We're gonna do the same thing. I'd be careful with these because they're gonna set a lot quicker than that double-sided tape that we just did on the bottom there, because there's so many letters, so many points of contact. So I want to get as straight as you can. And pull this off. That looks stunning. Chrome on the black. This job is done. Let's take a look at it outside. All right, we got it pulled outside. This thing looks fantastic. Look at it, guys, up close. Beautiful finish. We did this in less than 24 hours. Got it all wrapped up, and it's looking really, really good. We did it the right way too. That UV primer can really help you out on small stuff. The UV light is a little bit pricey, so it's not really do-it-yourselfer type material, but really happy with the way this one came out. You can see it matches perfect, and really pleased with this. We'll get this back to the customer. So hope you guys learned something. Make sure you comment, you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. This is Brian from Paint Society reminding you, don't overthink it. It's just paint. I'll see you guys on the next one.